So we are at the point where it's time to talk about a couple of other important events in the Revolutionary War. Today's video that I'm going to talk you through a little bit, along with some other things on Google Classroom that you'll use and explore, is going to be about George Washington and this event that's called Crossing the Delaware, and then the Battle of Trenton. So let me just remind you of kind of where we're at here. We've studied the Battle of Lexington, which was a British win, took place in Massachusetts. We studied a little bit about the Battle of Concord. That was a Continental Army win, also in Massachusetts. Battle of Bunker Hill, another British win, but remember there were a lot of casualties, so it's kind of a moral victory in a way for the Continental Army, but a loss nonetheless. That was also in Massachusetts. The British Army moves, they evacuate Boston, and they move south to New York. The Battle of Long Island, you just watched that video about, and it's another British win. Okay, so if you just look at the couple of battles that we studied, and we don't study all of them, and there are a lot of smaller, what they'd call skirmishes, which are just like mini battles, but you're noticing a trend here, at least you should be. The British are winning a lot of these battles. So at this point in time, and we're at about a year and a half into the war, at this point in time, the Continental Army morale is very low, and they're feeling unsuccessful. And so Washington is going to need to think of something. He's going to need to do something different, think out of the box. And that's where his next move comes into play. So on the night of December 25th, 1776, on Christmas night, George Washington decides to plan a sneak attack. He's going to take his troops and land in Trenton, New Jersey. In order to get to Trenton, New Jersey to fight in the Battle of Trenton, George Washington has to cross a river with his troops and his cavalry and all of his men. And when he crosses the river that night, December 25th, the following day, the Battle of Trenton begins in New Jersey. And we're going to look at this battle map in a little bit more detail later on. But if you look up in the top right-hand corner here, Washington has crossed the Delaware River, but not at the battle location site. He crosses it a little farther north, and then he marches with his troops down south to Trenton. And the key for Washington here is that there are a bunch of German Hessian soldiers that are stationed in Trenton. And so he performs this attack on them and is successful. The Battle of Trenton is won by the Continental Army. And it's kind of looked at as a turning point, at least at the beginning of the war here, because it helps the Continental Army get this morale boost like it needed. So like I said, we'll come back to this map a little bit later. There's a lot of interactive pieces on this map, like why would you attack during the winter time? Well, Washington knew that in formal battle, in 18th century battle, most of the time attacks didn't happen during the winter, and both sides kind of agreed on it. So he wanted to kind of make a move, do something different. And so that was one of the reasons why he chose to do it. And there's just other things to explore on this map, why he chose the Delaware and what the Hessian soldiers, how they kept themselves, how the Continental Army kept them contained, that kind of thing. But what you're going to focus on more today is this painting. So this painting that is meant to show you Washington crossing the Delaware on December 25th, 1776, is actually not created and painted until 1851. And it's painted by a German American who lived in Germany for many years, and his intent on painting this is very different from what we now remember it as, because this painting goes down as one of the most popular and reprinted paintings of American history. So today, for your work, you are going to do a little bit of analyzing of this painting. When you click on at the top here, I just have some information about the artist that we'll kind of talk about, the size of the painting, where it's located, and the year it was created. Then I have the link here that brings you to the interactive view of the painting, which is this thing. Anytime you hover over one of these plus signs, it gives you some more information. So you're going to follow the instructions on the rest of this page to answer the questions. Like, you're going to find in here what's inaccurate about this painting. Like, what did the artist get wrong, historically wrong? Then you're going to look for symbols. Like, the artist and all artists, they use colors and locations and items in here to symbolize bigger ideas. And when you read some of these excerpts, you're going to see what some of those symbols might be. So you could get some from the writing, or you could come up with maybe an explanation or an inference about what you think some symbols are and why. So that's your homework for today, and if you finish it during class, you don't have to do it, but your homework is to finish the questions that are on the bottom of this sheet for Monday. That's it. Let me know if you have any questions.